After losing the first test of the 5-match series, India were understandably on the back foot going into the second test because they knew that potentially another loss, and let's be frank, we do live in an era where test matches are result oriented more often than not, would have put them on the back foot going into the remainder of the 3 games. Luckily for India, or not luckily considering it was very much skill based, and they ended up getting the win in the second test match. So far so good, they've done pretty well, and as you can understand, Rohit Sharma afterwards was a very happy captain. Naturally so, given the fact that they've drawn level in the series, they head into that slight break between the next 3 tests with some good amount of momentum behind them, and obviously plenty to build on as far as the overall performance is concerned. That being said, don't let the good performance from India fool anyone, including Rohit Sharma, into believing that there were no flaws. The skipper himself pointed out one thing that he did expect from his batters going forward. In fact, this is exactly the one major point he picked out where he expected an instant improvement. He said that if I have to point out anything as far as improvement areas are concerned, a lot of the batters got starts but couldn't get a big score. But I understand they're young and new to the game, and truth be told, you understand both sides of his argument. Yes, there were batters who did end up getting starts but couldn't quite convert that into a big score. On the flip side, as Rohit himself points out, a lot of the batters playing in this particular test series, they don't quite have that big level experience just yet of playing for India at a consistent level. So it is easy to give them that leeway and understand. But of course, there were players who did take advantage of that, especially one particular young batter whom Rohit did shower with praise. But before we get to him, it's important to talk about an old warhorse or an experienced warhorse who was absolutely the key for India in this particular match, Jasprit Bumrah. He said that Jasprit Bumrah is a champion player for us, and he has done that job for a while now. I mean, simple and sweet as far as Jasprit Bumrah is concerned. Rohit Sharma, of course, would know a lot about Bumrah and the kind of contributions, match-winning contributions that he can make, given that Bumrah, of course, has been playing under the tutelage of Rohit Sharma, made his IPL debut under him, has won 5 IPL titles with him, and of course, then made the jump to the Indian team when Rohit himself was a senior player. But he says Bumrah has been that champion bowler for us, and he will continue doing that for a while. But of course, whilst Bumrah's contributions were not that surprising, given again we know the quality the man possesses, one batter whose contributions definitely stand out, especially in hindsight, was Jaiswal. Now Jaiswal, of course, got that all-important double 100 in the first innings, and of course many would argue that without that double 100, India's batting didn't really have a lot to show for in that first innings. In fact, the next highest score after that was 34, which in itself tells you just how valuable a contribution Yashasvi had, and Rohit was full of praise for the youngster. He said that Jaiswal looks like a good player, he understands his game really well, long way to go for him, and he has got a lot to offer the team. I hope he stays humble. That last part, definitely very important, especially when you've seen how a lot of young players, sometimes instant success can get to their head, but there's no indication whatsoever on that regard from a Yashasvi Jaiswal. You know, you've seen how it is, he's grown and matured. He started off with a couple of good years in the IPL, then came to the T20I team, absolutely blew the roof off, then made his test debut, got 100 on debut, granted, was against the West Indies, but still, runs are runs. And ever since then, now even in this series in India, he's looked very, very promising more often than not. In fact, as Rohit says, he understands his game really well, and he's got a long way still to go. And you hope that he continues to offer whatever it is that he has to offer to Indian cricket as a whole. But what are your thoughts on what it is that Rohit Sharma had said? Do you agree with his sentiments? Do you think that yes, maybe some of the batters need to get bigger scores? Because again, there is a school of thought that maybe India should look for good contributions rather than, oh, let's go get a big 100. If you can get useful contributions from everyone, you would have a big score on hand regardless. We've seen that with India in the Hyderabad test, where they got to about 430 odd with really no one getting a big 100. Everyone got like 70-80, and you did have enough runs. It was just in the second innings, the way you batted, it definitely was not good enough. That being said, Rohit Sharma is echoing the thoughts of his head coach. Rahul Dravid himself said that you needed someone to get a big 100 in the first test. In this game, you did have a Jaiswal who got it, but no one got that in the second innings. Not that it really mattered, given that England had 400 runs to chase. Do you agree with Rohit's take? Do you think that maybe he needs to ease off a little bit and expect more from his bowlers? What are your thoughts on Rohit Sharma's comments? Let us know that in the comment section below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, well, go right ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now though, from my side, it's bye-bye.